We got Shane Burgos and Edson Barbosa. This fight in the featherweight division, the first fight on the main card of UFC 262, Oliveira versus Chandler. A slight favorite right here in Shane Burgos at minus 130, Edson Barbosa at plus 105. So pretty much a 50-50 fight on the betting odds right here. Pretty similar heights and pretty similar reach. The only thing that I see a big disadvantage in is probably going to be the age, but he kind of makes up for that with the experience factor. I mean, you see right here, he's 35 years old, 5 years older than Shane Burgos, who's currently in the prime of his MMA career. But you look at the guys that he's fought inside of the featherweight and the lightweight division: Dan Ige, Paul Felder, Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, Kevin Lee, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Beneil Dariush. He beat Beneil Dariush, Anthony Pettis, Tony Ferguson, Paul Felder again, Michael Johnson, Bobby Green, Donald Cerrone. All these guys inside of the UFC and outside of the UFC. I mean, so many are really, really good fighters in his career so far. So much experience, and the betting odds for the fight are super, super close. So really 50-50 fight on the betting odds right here. The odds have kind of been closing in just a little bit. They started at minus 120 for Shane Burgos, immediately shot down to minus 150. Stayed really even around minus 125, minus 130, somewhere around that range then. Just a couple of days ago, they went way up, like just yesterday, to minus 120, which would be an amazing, amazing bet on Shane Burgos right there. But since then, they kind of got calmed down just a little bit. But right now, if you can get them anything around minus 122 and below, anything minus 22, minus 120, anything around that range for Shane Burgos would be a really, really good bet. And then for Edson Barbosa, I probably just wait probably 1 or 2 days for the betting odds to spread out just a little bit more. I think in the next 1-2 days, Edson Barbosa odds will be around plus 120, plus 115. So if you're planning on putting a bet on Edson Barbosa, I'd probably just wait 1 or 2 days, because I think the betting odds look pretty good right now. But they could get a lot better in the next couple of days, around plus 120, plus 125. So I'd probably just wait for that in the next couple of days for sure. But overall, a really, really close fight. Shane Burgos coming off a really, really close loss, honestly, to Josh Emmett. But Josh Emmett in the fight, I believe he broke his hand and still ended up beating Shane Burgos, which it was just absolutely insane. Before that, beating Mako Murakami by third round knockout, decision win over Cub Swanson. First round armbar submission win, lost to Calvin Kattar by third round knockout. Before that, getting 3 wins in a row. And then before that, a lot of wins in CFFC before that. A lot of knockout wins, a lot of submission wins as well. 5 knockouts and 5 submission wins with 3 decision wins. A lot of volume, just a buttload of volume. This man just pressures you to the back of the cage, which is going to be a really, really good thing for Shane Burgos in the fight. When you got a guy like Edson Barbosa who likes to kind of keep range, keep on attacking the legs with his kicks, with his body kicks, with whatever kicks he can possibly land, he's just going to be kicking and kicking and kicking at range. But in this fight with Edson Barbosa and Shane Burgos has the perfect style to fight a guy like Edson Barbosa, because he's just so suffocating with his pressure over and over and over, and just backing you up to the cage and just teeing off on you. And his chin, it's an amazing, amazing chin. He can take so many big shots. I mean, he withstood these shots from Josh Emmett right there, which is just absolutely insane. In this fight, his main way to win the fight would just be volume, and pressure. Just using his probably a little bit better boxing to just pressure Edson Barbosa to the cage, keep the fight mainly in the clinch, or just keep Edson's back to the cage as well, and just start just dirty boxing, to be honest. And that's the main way I see him winning, possibly getting the knockout, but most likely the fight will go all the way. Where the betting odds the fight does go all the way? So minus 170 odds that the fight does go all the way. If there are any odds for Burgos winning by decision, I'd probably hop on that as well. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not too sure what it was. Barbosa wins by decision plus 210, and then Burgos wins by decision plus 190. I like both of the odds. I think either way the fight will go all the way. Either way, it's gonna be a 29-28. Really, really close to the decision win. To be honest, I think the first round will be going to Edson Barbosa. And I think the third round will probably go to Shane Burgos. It's gonna all come down to the second round. I think it's gonna be super, super close fight, 29-28. No matter what. I mean, there's definitely a possibility with the power that both guys possess in their hands, that there could be a knockout, there could be a TKO, but most likely, probably 75-80% of the time, this fight will be going all the way. and should be staying in the striking game for most of the fight. Edson Barbosa might mix in a couple of takedowns here and there in the center of the cage when Shane Burgos kind of overcommits himself a little bit and over pressures on Edson Barbosa. He just goes down for a double leg and then kind of gets some points on the judges' scorecards. But that's the only real time I really see any takedowns, some wrestling, some grappling, anything like that. Overall, this one's definitely going to be a striking fight. Don't really see much grappling, wrestling, or anything like that on the ground. But Shane Burgos and Edson Barbosa are definitely both strikers. Shane Burgos, amazing takedown defense. This is the one thing I really like about him, because it forces the fight to stay on the feet, even with really, really good grapplers. He just, with a 90% takedown defense, just keeps the fight on the feet, which would be very hard for Edson Barbosa to get those takedowns in the center of the cage. But 5 knockout wins in his career so far, and the rest mainly coming by submission and decision. Solid 1-2 combination, really, really good boxing, super hard right hook to the liver. I mean, so devastating when that lands. I mean, you don't even know what a liver shot feels like. It hurts so much. You just don't even know what to do. You just crumble up and fall to the ground. So if Shane Burgos can possibly land one of those in the fight, I mean, it's going to be devastating on Edson Barbosa to kind of hinder all of those movements and the kicks of Edson Barbosa in the fight with that one right hook to the liver as well. Solid checks from leg kicks. So that is another thing I like about this. Edson Barbosa, a heavy leg kicker. He likes to kick your legs a lot. The inside calf kick. Every now and then go for the outside calf kick as well. But Shane Burgos with amazing checks. That could end up being a little bit tough for Edson Barbosa because it could end up damaging his lead leg or his back leg as well. But that's going to be another weapon for Shane Burgos in the fight. Likes to put his chin down and just bang with you. Go forward, pressure, volume over and over and over again, and just keep on going. Make it a dirty boxing fight and just put his chin down and start banging with you. That's going to be his main way to victory, in my opinion. I mean, 7.3 significant strikes landed per minute. I mean, that is absolutely insane. I believe these significant strikes for Edson Barbosa inside of the UFC around 4 or 3 strikes per minute, something around that range, but 7.3 significant strikes per minute. Absolutely insane. But he is absorbing a lot of strikes as well. Absorbing I believe it was like 6.1, but I rounded down to 6 strikes per minute right there. Main way to win, obviously, use his size. I mean, he's so big for the featherweight division. And then you got Edson Barbosa coming from the lightweight division to the featherweight division. I mean, these are probably the 2 biggest featherweight fighters in the division right now. I don't even know. Shane Burgos looks like a welterweight out there. And then both of them, I really think, are going to come out there around 165, 168, somewhere around that range. They're just going to bulk up right after that weigh-in. I mean, they're just so big for the division. I don't really think we'll see much of a size advantage from either fighter, just considering Shane Burgos is already really, really big for the division, and then Edson Barbosa moving from the lightweight division to the featherweight division as well. Just 1-2, 1-2, volume. That's the main way Shane Burgos will win the fight. Edson Barbosa, lots and lots of leg kicks, dangerous checks from Burgos. That could be a factor in the fight that might limit Edson Barbosa to actually going for those leg kicks. But if he can get around these checks from Burgos in the fight and just keep on landing those leg kicks, it will be very devastating in the later rounds for Shane Burgos in the fight. The really good right hooks to the body as well. Showed in the Mach 1 Americani fight, landing 58% of his strikes to the body. A lot of left body kicks to the body as well. If you happen to go forward on him and miss, obviously this is the one thing I was talking about earlier. If you miss on a big right hand and overcommit yourself just a little bit, you'll go down and you'll get the double leg just to kind of help him on the judges' scorecards as well. So that could be one thing that could help him if the fight does go all the way, which I do think the fight will go all the way. Lots and lots of experience. I already talked about it, but Paul Felder, Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Beneil Dariush. I can go down and down and down. The whole entire list of these guys that he's fought in the featherweight and lightweight division. Amazing power in his hands and kicks as well, with 11 knockout wins and 8 decision wins as well. I believe only like 2 or 3 submissions, something like that. Sorry about that, but they're both really, really big for the lightweight division. I mean, for the featherweight division. Sorry about that, but very good Muay Thai skills, a really good kicks, a really good boxing as well. His boxing is getting better pretty much every single time he goes out there. Really good right body kicks as well, and really, really good low calf kicks as well. I think, as I said before, I do think the first round will probably be going to Edson Barbosa. The third round will probably be going to Shane Burgos, just because he's going to be putting out that volume over and over again. I think it's all going to come down to that second round. Whoever wins the second round will win the fight, and if Shane Burgos just implements the strategy, which will be to just put out a buttload of volume. We know, 7.3 significant strikes that landed every single minute. If he just puts out enough volume on Edson Barbosa and just suffocates him against the cage, makes it a dirty boxing fight, I don't really see much of a path for Edson Barbosa to win the fight, because he does like to keep the fight at range. Just keep on kicking your legs over and over and over again, body kicks, head kicks, leg kicks, 1-2 combinations over and over and over again at range. It's gonna be really, really hard to land those strikes that Edson Barbosa is usually trying to be landing in his fights when you got a guy like Shane Burgos just suffocating you with pressure for three straight rounds. I mean, that's going to be a tough thing for Edson Barbosa to handle in the fight. So I think overall it's going to be a really, really close fight, but I'm probably going to be leaning towards Shane Burgos. At the beginning, I had Edson Barbosa winning the fight, but I've watched a lot of film on Shane Burgos, and I love how he pressures his opponents and how much volume he puts out there. And I've noticed Edson Barbosa not really the best against volume strikers. Usually when he's fighting really, really high volume strikers that look to pressure you and suffocate you against the cage, they're always really, really close fights. I think this fight will also be a really, really close fight, but I'm sort of leaning just a little bit, just a very, very small bit for Shane Burgos in the fight. I'm probably having Shane Burgos right now. If I were to pick out what the betting odds would be for the fight, I probably have Shane Burgos minus 115, minus 112, somewhere around that range, a little bit less than the odds that there are right now. But the only bet I really see to make on here would probably be Shane Burgos by decision. I think the fight will go all the way, and then plus 190, I believe, was the odds. Plus 190 that Burgos wins the fight by decision. That's the only real bet that I see on this fight right here. Maybe you see Burgos by TKO if you think he'll get the knockout, which is very likely. I still think there's a 30-25% chance, somewhere around that range, that Burgos does get the TKO or knockout in the fight. Very possible, but I think overall the fight will go all the way, and Shane Burgos will win the fight by 29-28 unanimous decision, which the odds are that actually happens in the fight will be around plus 190, which is the best bet I think you can make for Shane Burgos in the fight right there. But overall, it should be a really, really good fight, but definitely going Shane Burgos to win the fight by 29-28 unanimous decision. And then after that fight, guys, we have Katlyn Chookagian and Viviane Araujo. I'm going to say it right now before I even get into the video. I have Viviane Araujo winning the fight. She is the underdog, plus 125. A little bit older than Katlyn Chookagian right there. A little bit smaller. 5 inches smaller than Katlyn Chookagian. But I am going to be going with the underdog in Viviane Araujo right here. Before I even get into the video, I really like the odds on Viviane Araujo right now. Plus 120, really, really good odds. There was some better odds a little bit earlier in the last couple of months at plus 127, and at one point, crazily at plus 135. But even now, if you can get her anything above plus 120, anything around the range, I think it'd be a really, really good bet on Viviane Araujo right there. She's a really, really good wrestler. 10 wins, 2 losses. We saw her last fight, an absolute domination. Both of these fights with Montana De La Rosa and then Roxanne Modafferi, absolute dominations in the grappling and wrestling, with devastating ground and pound, amazing in mount. She just keeps on teeing off with the ground and pound over and over and over again. We won't really talk about that loss to Jessica Eye right there, but before that, beating a lot of other good fighters like Alexis Davis and Talita Bernardo as well. You look right here, 3 knockout wins, 4 submission wins, and 3 decision wins. The betting odds of the fight goes all the way. Personally, I do think the fight will go all the way, but you never know with a fight like this, because you do know Katlyn Chookagian does have some pretty decent power in the striking game. Not many finishes on her record, but she definitely has the abilities to finish the fight right here. And then Viviane Araujo, could get the TKO win, could just ground and pound and get the TKO win, possibly get the submission win on the ground as well. But right now, minus 350 that the fight goes all the way. I don't think it should be that big of a margin that the fight goes all the way. Personally, I think that would be a good small bet to go. That the fight does not go to decision. I think it's very likely the fight does not go to decision. I think probably around 38% chance that Viviane Araujo gets the KO, TKO, or submission in the fight. But it should be a really, really interesting one right there. Really good wrestling. I believe she has a BJJ black belt. I'm pretty sure. I'm probably gonna have to check back on that. But I'm pretty sure she has a BJJ black belt. Amazing wrestling. So much ground and pound. Shown in her last 2 fights inside of the UFC. Katlyn Chookagian mainly gonna want to keep the fight in the striking game at range. Leg kicks at leg kicks at leg kicks. And just try to win a close 29-28 decision win. This should be a really, really close fight in my opinion. But I'm gonna go with the underdog in Viviane Araujo right here. Vivian Araújo, leg kicks to leg kicks, leg kicks. That's what I was just saying. I mean, Katlyn Chookagian is very susceptible to those leg kicks. So in the striking portion of the fight, Vivian Araújo just needs to attack that leg as much as possible, and then eventually, Katlyn Chookagian is gonna overcommit on some of her strikes, and then Vivian Araújo gonna get that double leg takedown, gonna get her down, ground and pound, go for submission after submission after submission, and just dominate the fight on the ground as well. Just double leg or get the fight in the clinch, get the body lock, and then get the strip takedown in the clinch. Really good wrestling and grappling. 2.3 takedowns every single fight inside the UFC. Has 64% accuracy. Really good, that's another thing right there. We know Katlyn Chookagian likes to throw a lot of kicks in her fights, but if she just so happens to throw a body kick on Vivian Araújo, do not expect Katlyn Chookagian to stay in the striking. I mean, Vivian Araújo is going to catch that kick and get the fight to the ground as soon as possible right there. Amazing ground and pound, really good top control. Yeah, I see right here. BJJ black belt, vicious ground and pound on top in mount. 4 submission wins on her record so far. Amazing ground and pound TKOs. That's the main way I see her winning. If she's going to finish the fight, would be by ground and pound TKO or by submission by like rear naked or something like that. If Katlyn Chookagian does give her back to Vivian Araújo in the fight. Main way I see her winning the fight, just kick the crap out of Katlyn Chookagian's legs in the striking game. Get a double leg takedown, get the fight down, probably get side control, then try to get the full mount, and then just start ground and pounding, go for submission after submission after submission to a decision win right there. For Katlyn Chookagian, very, very tall for the division, 5 feet 9 inches tall, 5 inches taller than Vivian Araújo in the fight. 50% takedown defense, which is not really too bad, but she's going to need much better takedown defense, fighting a girl like Vivian Araújo right here. So I expect Katlyn Chookagian to get taken down a couple of times in the fight. Really good striking defense, 63%, and probably will have the advantage in the striking portion of the fight. Not the best finishing abilities, only 3 fights out of 15 professional MMA fights. So 1 out of 5 of her wins going all the way. 1 out of her 5 wins and not going all the way, with only 3 finishes, 2 by knockout, and then I believe 1 win by submission, with 12 wins coming by decision. So if Katlyn Chookagian is going to win the fight, it's going to be by decision. I mean, it's pretty obvious about that one, but the one person I think has a very, very good possibility of getting the finish right here, obviously going to be Vivian Araújo right here. The main way I see Katlyn Chookagian winning the fight, just volume striking in the striking portion of the fight, defending the takedowns, and then making it very, very even for a 29-28 unanimous decision win right here. But I really don't know. I'm probably going Vivian Araújo just because I think she will get the fight very even in the striking game. Just attack the legs with calf kicks over and over and over again. Eventually, take the fight down and then just grapple and wrestle with Katlyn Chookagian for 3 straight rounds. Kind of try and do what Valentina Shevchenko did to Katlyn Chookagian in their fight a couple of years ago. But I think overall, Vivian Araújo will win the fight, get 2 to 4 takedowns in the fight, just keep on dominating with ground and pound submission attempts over and over and over again. And my prediction for the fight will be Vivian Araújo winning the fight by unanimous decision right there. Not too sure what Vivian Araújo's odds are by TKO. I do like those odds right there. Araújo by TKO or knockout, and then Araújo by submission. I think it's very, very likely. I think if there's one person to get the finish right here, it would be Araújo. And if she does get the finish, most likely, in my opinion, it would be by KO or TKO. Just those ground and pound shots on the ground as well. Most likely the fight will go all the way. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit risky saying Araújo by decision. But anything above plus 200, I think is a really, really good bet on Araújo winning by decision. But if there are no betting odds for you that have Araújo by decision at plus 200 and above, and you do have some odds for Araújo winning by knockout, anything around plus 500, put a small $1 to $2 on that. I think it's very, very likely we see a knockout TKO win from Vivian Araújo in the fight, 100%. Going with the underdog right here. Not too sure why she's the underdog. Personally, I have Vivian Araújo around minus 125, something around there, probably around what Katlyn Chookagian was at the beginning of the betting odds right here. But yeah, I'm definitely going Vivian Araújo right there, winning the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. After that, guys, we have a really, really good fight right here. And guess what, guys? Tony Ferguson and Beneil Dariush this fight in the co-main event at UFC 262, Oliveira versus Chandler. Tony Ferguson and Beneil Dariush. This is a really banger of a co-main event right here. You obviously look at the age, you look at the height, you look at the reach. Really big disparities in every single facet of that part right there. First off, Beneil Dariush being 5 years younger, a very big age advantage in the fight, being 1 inch smaller than Tony Ferguson, and then having a 4-inch reach disadvantage over Tony Ferguson. All those things will help him in the striking portion of the fight. Plus 125 and then minus 145. Personally, I have Beneil Dariush around, let's see, what are they betting odds right now? So right now they have Beneil Dariush at minus 150. Personally, I have Beneil Dariush around, let's see if they ever had it at that. I have Beneil Dariush, to be honest, around minus 120, minus 125, somewhere around that range. I think this is a little bit too much. If you are a guy that's kind of pushing towards Tony Ferguson to win the fight, personally, I don't think Tony Ferguson will win the fight. At the odds that they have him right now at plus 150, pretty much, I think those are some really good odds. Plus 150 for Tony Ferguson winning the fight. I mean, those are some really good odds right there. But right now, if you're planning on betting on Beneil Dariush, I'd probably wait a couple of days. Because the odds are kind of spreading out just a little bit. But I think you probably have to wait till it gets anywhere around, let's see, minus 130, minus 135, anything around that range for Beneil Dariush. That'd be a really good bet. But right now, it just seems like it's going to stay pretty steady around minus 150, minus 160. So I'd probably stay away from betting on Beneil Dariush at the odds that they have him right there. But Tony Ferguson, I think those are some really good odds at plus 148. But overall, a really good fight right here. I mean, both fighters, amazing striking. Tony Ferguson, just crazy cardio. Puts on an insane pace in every single one of his fights. So really good dart strokes. A lot of submission wins on his record as well. And then a lot of knockout wins. So 14 knockouts, 9 submission wins, and then 5 decision wins so far. Most of those submission wins come in by dart stroke, rear naked, triangle over and over again. His last 2 wins over Anthony Pettis and Donald Cerrone, both of which were not really the best fighters in the UFC. He's under the UFC right now, but after that, fought Justin Gaethje. He got dominated for 5 straight rounds, and fought Charles Oliveira, who was in the main event right here, lost the fight by unanimous decision. Beneil Dariush was supposed to fight Charles Oliveira. Not really too sure what happened right there. He was supposed to fight on that fight card right there for Holm versus Aldana fight card right there. Not too sure what happened. I don't know why that fight got canceled, but now we have Beneil Dariush and Tony Ferguson. Beneil Dariush also has a lot of power in his hands, so some decent submission skills as well. 5 knockout wins, 8 submission wins, and 7 decision wins. The really good wrestling from Beneil Dariush. That's the main way I see Beneil Dariush winning the fight. Just implement that wrestling and grappling early in the first and second round. Just try to dominate the fight on the ground. We saw in the last fight with Charles Oliveira and Tony Ferguson. We saw exactly what Charles Oliveira did to Tony Ferguson. Got half guard and just started ground and pounding and going for submissions, looking for the armbar over and over again. If Beneil Dariush can do something similar to that, I think he will 100% win the fight right here. But he's on an amazing win streak. I believe 6 wins in a row. Thiago Moises, Drew Dober, Frank Camacho, Drakkar Klose, Scott Holtzman, and then Diego Ferreira. A really good win streak right there. Overall, it's going to be a really close fight. Tony Ferguson, just an insane fighter. I mean, 14 knockout wins and 9 submission wins. 5.5 significant strikes landing every single minute at a 45% accuracy rate. Going to be a little bit taller, a little bit more lengthy than Beneil Dariush, which could help him at range in the fight right here. Very solid takedown defense of 70%, and decent submission skills on the ground as well. Could kind of threat with that dart stroke, with the rear naked, whatever the case may be. Whatever submission that Tony Ferguson can use in the fight, he could use as a defensive weapon to defend the takedowns from Beneil Dariush. Kind of how people sometimes use the guillotine choke submission to get out of takedowns. The very good takedown defense, 70%. I already said that. Solid jabs. I think in this fight he'll land a lot of jabs, having an insane reach advantage and a height advantage over Beneil Dariush right here. Very good cardio. Much better than Dariush, in my opinion. The first round, in my opinion, will go to Beneil Dariush, and in the third round will go to Tony Ferguson, and then the second round, that's really where it comes to. If Beneil Dariush has enough cardio in the second round, I think he will win that second round, and overall win the fight by 29 or 28 unanimous decision. But you just never know with Beneil Dariush's cardio. It's all over the place. He doesn't really have the best cardio, but sharp elbows from the bottom as well. Main way I see him winning the fight would probably be in the striking game right here. Just finding those angles, using lots of fangs, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 jabs, jabs, and then just pressuring Dariush, and then just keeps jabbing over and over and over again, defending the takedowns, and getting a really close 29-28 unanimous decision win right here. Benito Dariush, black belt in BJJ, amazing wrestling, really good grappling, 2 takedowns every single fight inside of the UFC, 8 submission wins inside of the UFC so far. Not inside the UFC, just in his career so far. Lots of ground and pound TKO wins as well. Not the best chin, already getting KO'd 3 out of his 4 fights that he's lost inside the UFC so far. And then he's been rocked a lot. You just hit him with a nice straight right hand. He most likely is gonna wobble a little bit. Doesn't have the best chin, and there's gonna be a pretty good possibility that Tony Ferguson gets a knockout in the fight. 50% accuracy striking, which is very good, and 60% striking defense, which is very surprising, but amazing 81% takedown defense right there. He's gonna implement a lot of calf kicks to try to hinder the movement of Tony Ferguson, because he likes to move a lot around the case. So he's just gonna implement a lot of leg kicks in the fight as well. I think he's just going to be a 1-2 type of fighter in this one. Maybe going for those double leg takedowns after, because we know Tony Ferguson is going to be pressuring in the fight, and when he pressures too much on Benito Dariush, Benito's just going to go down and get the double leg takedown, get the fight down, ground and pound, go for some submissions as well, and then try to do what Gregor Gillespie did to Diego Ferreira in his last fight, and get the TKO to ground and pound knockout winner right here. The main way I see him winning the fight, have Ferguson come to him, land jabs, overhand left hands, and continue to attack the legs with calf kicks, get the double leg takedown, and grapple and wrestle for a decision win, 29-28 on all judges' scorecards. That's the main way I see Benito Dariush winning the fight. Overall, a really close fight. In my opinion, I think the fight will go all the way, and it will be 29-28, whichever way the fight goes, but overall, I think that Benito Dariush, his wrestling, his grappling will be good in the first and second round. I think he will win the first and second round. I think Tony Ferguson is going to need a knockout in the fight, which is very possible. We know Benito Dariush does not have the best chin, so that is another bet I want to look at right here for Benito Dariush and Tony Ferguson. It would be Tony Ferguson winning by KO or CKO at plus 235. Overall, I think the fight will go all the way if Benito Dariush wins the fight. And I think if Tony Ferguson wins the fight, most likely it'd probably be by knockout, just because that granite chin, not a granite chin of Benito Dariush. I don't think, I don't know. I think Tony Ferguson can land a big right hand, possibly get the knockout, maybe something like that, but my overall prediction will be Benito Dariush to win the fight, just wrestling and grappling for 3 straight rounds, winning the first round, winning the second round in his cardio, fading out in the third and final round, overall losing the fight, overall winning the fight by 29-28 unanimous decision. Again, as I said at the beginning of the video, do not like the odds right here of -150. Just wait until Benito Dariush odds are anything around -130 and below. Anything around the odds that they have Kalen Trigan at right here. These are some really good odds. If those odds do go for Benito Dariush around -132, probably put a small straight bet right there. And maybe, just maybe, you go Benito Dariush winning the fight by decision. Let's see if we can find those. Not used by decision plus 130. Also think that is a really good bet right there. But I'd probably wait till those odds go around plus 150. I think that'd be a really good bet right there. But overall, I got Benito Dariush winning that fight by 29-28 unanimous. We got Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler in the main event of UFC 262 for the UFC Vacant Lightweight Championship. The number 3 and number 4 lightweight fighters in the world. After Khabib Nurmagomedov, the greatest lightweight fighter of all time, just retired. These two guys are going to be fighting each other to see who the next lightweight champion is, and the winner of this fight fights the winner of Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. That's going to be an insane fight. This fight is also going to be an insane fight, 100%. Honestly, I think the fight going all the way is very unlikely. Personally, I think it's an 85% chance we see a knockout from Michael Chandler or a submission win from Charles Oliveira in the fight. I do not think the fight will go all the way. Only a 15% chance, in my opinion, that this fight will go all the way with the power and submission skills that both guys possess in their arsenal. Michael Chandler, amazing submission defense with 22 wins and 5 losses. Out of his 5 losses so far, none of them have come by submission right there. 3 knockout losses, 2 decision losses, and 0 submission losses. So it's going to be pretty hard for Charles Oliveira to get this submission right here. pretty big advantage in the age department, in the height department, and in the reach department right here. A 5-inch reach advantage and a 2-inch height advantage. Also a 4-year age advantage over Michael Chandler in the fight. I mean, he has so much experience, only being 31 and a half years old with 38 professional MMA fights. That is just absolutely insane right there. I mean, you look at his record so far: 19 submission wins, 8 knockout wins, and 3 decision wins inside of the UFC. Getting a rear naked, an armbar submission, a calf slicer, a dart choke, a triangle, a Peruvian necktie, a guillotine again, rear naked, guillotine again, a rear naked, anaconda, 2 knockout wins. I mean, we didn't really expect that to happen, but 2 knockout wins in a row, then another guillotine, and then a decision win over Tony Ferguson. Absolutely insane. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. Just absolutely insane over some really good fighters. The lightweight division right there. Also, earlier in his career, big guys like, I believe he lost to Max Holloway, but he's fought some amazing fighters so far inside the UFC. But a slight favorite right here at -135. Michael Chandler at +110. And for this fight, with the betting odds, I probably wouldn't just bet straight up that Charles Oliveira will win the fight, or straight up that Michael Chandler will win the fight. I probably want to do a prop bet on one of these two guys right here. And it's pretty obvious which prop bet I'm probably going to be picking right here. And that would probably be Chandler by KO TKO. I think plus a 235 is some really good odds right there. And personally, that'd be a really good bet for Chandler winning by knockout. Because personally, that's the only real way I see him winning. Getting a straight right hand, a left hook like he did against Dan Hooker in his last fight, or taking the fight down and just ground and pounding for a TKO win. And then Oliveira, obviously, probably if he wins the fight, it would be by submission. I think this ship is kind of sailed for this one. It started at plus 240, is now at plus 175, so probably stay away from this one. Probably just stay away from betting on Charles Oliveira winning by submission, just because the odds shift so much just in the last couple of hours. Yeah, that ship is kind of sailed, but the odds for Michael Chandler winning by knockout are still some really good odds at plus 235. So they're the main way I see both fighters win the fight. Obviously, Michael Chandler getting a knockout, or Charles Oliveira getting a submission win in the first, second, or third round. But Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira both have amazing striking, solid wrestling from Michael Chandler as well, and then amazing guillotine submissions, whatever the case may be, from Charles Oliveira in the fight. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. The most submission wins in UFC history. Really good grappler and amazing Muay Thai skills as well. Black belt in BJJ. I mean, it's pretty obvious he's a black belt in BJJ. 14 submission wins and 5 more. That's 14 submission wins inside of the UFC, and then 5 more outside of the UFC. Made a way of getting his submissions, already 4 submission wins by guillotine choke submission. So Michael Chandler, being a really good wrestler, is going to be a little bit more hesitant to go for a double leg takedown on Charles Oliveira, because he's just going to grab onto a guillotine and just tighten it up, possibly get the submission, and possibly just use that to reverse the position, or get the fight back up on the feet. Super tall, super lengthy, 5 foot, 10 inches tall, 2 inches taller than Chandler, and a 74-inch reach advantage. A 74-inch reach, which is a 5-inch reach advantage in the fight. Only 31 years old. That is the craziest thing I've seen for this fight. I mean, Charles Oliveira, with 38 professional MMA fights, is 31 years old. How in the world is that possible? With 38 pro fights. I mean, just absolutely insane. In the prime of his MMA career. If he gets you in a mount position, gets on top of you, it's pretty much over. He did that to Tony Ferguson, and then almost got that armbar submission. I mean, he pretty much got the armbar. He pretty much snapped that arm right there. But if he gets you in mount, prepare to tap or prepare to go to sleep. Sorry about that. But really solid Muay Thai skills as well. Loves to move forward. That's the one thing I've seen out of the film that I've seen so far on Charles Oliveira. He loves to move forward. He does not want to fight on the back foot. He wants to move forward, pressure you against the cage. But if he pressures the guy like Michael Chandler, Michael Chandler's going to throw it an overhand right or a left hook and just catch Charles Oliveira. And that could be a way for Michael Chandler to get the knockout in the fight. So it's going to be dangerous for Charles Oliveira to do what he usually does and just pressure his opponents and be the one not on the back foot. So I think he's gonna be trying to pressure Michael Chandler in the first and second round. But after he feels the power of Michael Chandler, slowly but surely is gonna start to take that back foot and then start to move backwards every now and then. I think the striking advantage will probably go to Michael Chandler right here. I think the main way Charles Oliveira would win the fight. I don't think he wants to keep the fight in the striking game with the power that Michael Chandler possesses. So if Charles Oliveira wants to win the fight, he's going to have to get the takedown, get the fight in the clinch, do what he did against Tony Ferguson, get the body lock, get the trip takedown, get him down, get full mount, grind him out, and try to get the submission. That's the main way. I see Charles Oliveira winning the fight right here. And then really, really good knees and elbows in the clinch as well. Amazing guillotines as well. Michael Chandler, a really, really powerful striker. And amazing wrestling, amazing takedown defense of around 80% right here. Super good submission defense. Never been submitted in his professional MMA career. 10 knockout wins so far. Really powerful overhand right and left hooks, as we saw against Dan Hooker in his last fight. Almost an All-American wrestler in college, wrestling in high school and college with a record, I believe, around 100 wins and 20 losses. Absolutely insane. If he does manage to get Charles Oliveira to the ground and defend the submissions, and he's going to land some deadly ground. And that's the main way I see him landing the bulk of his strikes in the fight would be to take Charles Oliveira down. Charles Oliveira just looking for submissions from the bottom, and then Michael Chandler just dominating with ground and pound on top. But there is always that danger of Charles Oliveira just getting the submission from the bottom, so he's going to have to be really, really cautious going for the ground and pound on the ground right there. But if he's cautious, that could be a really, really good weapon in the fight. If you were to get the KO TKO, it'd probably be from a combination in the striking game. Catch Charles Oliveira, go for the double leg takedown, get him down, and ground and pound for the TKO win. That's the main way. I see him winning the fight by knockout, and the main way I actually see him winning the fight. 100% has the power advantage in the fight. He's most likely going to get a knockout right here. If he does get on top of Oliveira, he has to be super weary of the submission threat from the bottom. But if he does defend the submissions, it's gonna be a pretty interesting fight because Michael Chandler has devastating ground and pound as well. Main way to win it, obviously KO TKO from ground and pound in the fight. Should be a really, really interesting fight, to be honest. 50-50. I don't agree with the odds right here. The odds right now, let's see where they are. Minus 130 and then plus 110. Personally, I have it at minus 110 and then minus 110. I think it's a 50-50 fight. It could go either way. Michael Chandler could get the knockout, could get the TKO, could wrestle the whole entire fight. Charles Oliveira could just get the submission early in the first round. He could get some crazy flying knee, whatever the case may be. Overall, it's a really, really 50-50 fight in the main event right here for the vacant lightweight belt. It's close, guys. It's a really, really close fight, but I mean, it could go either way. Charles Oliveira could make it really, really technical in the striking portion of the fight. A lot of front kicks, a lot of 1-2 combinations, using his reach and using his height. But we saw Michael Chandler and Dan Hooker fight. Dan Hooker was a much taller, much more lengthy fighter than Michael Chandler, just like Charles Oliveira is in this fight. And Michael Chandler just kept on pressing forward, body shot, over and over and over again, and just eventually landed that left hook and knocked Dan Hooker out cold. The same thing could happen right here. I think eventually in this fight, Michael Chandler will catch Charles Oliveira with a right hand or a left hook in the fight, get him down to wrestle, and grind and pound. And in my opinion, I'm going to go with the underdog and Michael Chandler right here. I have him catching him in the striking portion of the fight, just rocking Charles Oliveira a little bit, getting the takedown, getting him down, grind and pounding, and getting the TKO win in the second or third round. Do not get me wrong. I mean, it's super possible Charles Oliveira goes out there and just immediately take the fight down. I guess it's a submission win in the first or second round, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to be going with the underdog right here. I think it's 50-50. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Could go either way. Just it matters on who implements their game plan. I think Michael Chandler's game plan will be to wrestle and grapple. And I think he'll do that. I think he'll do that pretty good in the fight. Just land a big shot in the striking game, take him down, grind and pound, and overall my prediction for the main event for UFC 262, Oliveira versus Chandler for the UFC vacant lightweight belt is Michael Chandler, a former 3-time Bellator champ, becomes a 1-time UFC lightweight champion right here. But what do you guys think is going to happen? Lightweight belt on the line. Michael Chandler and Charles "Jew Bronx" Oliveira. Who do you guys have winning? I have Michael Chandler winning the fight, but put your predictions in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching the video. Like the video, everything like that. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's check the comment section right now.